want you to think about these things I'm going to share with you. If your job you have right now safe within the next 5 years, will AI will take it over? Will automation take over? If your job is in jeopardy, what are you doing to protect yourself? If you are a renter and your landlord raises the rent every year, what if he decides to sell the property within the next 5 years? What will you do? If you're a homeowner, for those that don't know, it was average 2.5 million jobs will be gone by 2030. That number went from 2.5 to 8.9 million jobs will be gone. How will that affect your neighborhood? How will that affect your safety? How will that affect your children next 5 years? Will the education that you're paying for them to go to school for, will that degree help them? A lot of people graduated now, their degrees didn't help them at all throughout their life. But we're taught to do the repetitive thing and push our kids and go to college, go get this degree, go do that, because you probably feel like you're neglecting your kids if you don't give an opportunity to go to college when you realize your college degree didn't probably help you. The things they're teaching in college is not helping. But what they're doing is actually creating them to become a slave to a financial debt. That's what's happening. Social media, certain platforms are becoming a drug to lull us into forgetting that we're creating slaves to the financial system because we feel like we're bad parents or we're giving bad information if we tell a kid who's a free thinker to not go to college. Some of the top billionaire CEOs never went to college, don't have college degrees. Forwarding knowledgeable information. Have you clicked on something that wasn't funny, that wasn't tragedy, that wasn't hurtful, that wasn't a conversation about relationships, that was education-based and actually forwarded to someone because it was educational-based? I need us to break away from just scrolling and realize when you scrolling, I want you to ask a question. Like when I go on social media, and I literally was on there now, and I said, what is it that I'm waiting to see? Because if you don't know what you're waiting to see, you're going to keep clicking and clicking because you don't have a purpose. And then when we do find something, and it's that funny content, it's that bad content, it's something that's not promoting healthy growth in your brain. It's not stimulating us. And sometimes people just want to escape and get away. But I'm going to tell y'all some real truth. The moments of saying I want to escape and get away and I don't want to deal with the reality of stuff, that's done. I make it my business to really have conversations about moving forward. Real estate, y'all know, I started from real estate, but I hate to be the one to tell you, building wealth in real estate is dead. It's dead. I'm not saying, now listen, don't get emotional. This ain't church. I need you to hear what I'm saying. You can make money in real estate because I still make money, but I'm not building no wealth. You can make money, but you ain't building no wealth. Don't get it confused. The question is what you're going to do with the money you made to turn that into building wealth. That's the question. So you can go get your property. I want you to flip it. I want you to go renovate it. I want you to rent it out. I want you to get equity. But now when you get that $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, that's not life-changing. It's only life-changing if you invest it in the right place to make it life-changing. I've been in real estate since 1999. If you show me a property that somebody could buy right now, that they don't have to fix, they could just cash flow, and now that money is going to make you wealthy. You as an individual, not a group of people, because yeah, me and my community, we bought multi-units, $2 million, $3 million properties as a group. Now that's life-changing group investments. Show me the one person who could take that one job and buy one property and their life is set forever. That's done. But that was back then when you could buy a property in the 80s and possibly in the 90s. Like I bought brownstones in the 90s, $300,000 worth 1.7. Yeah, it took 25 years, but guess what? I'm going to cash out, pay a huge amount in taxes, and take that money and do something with it. They made it unavoidable. They made it this way. So I'm not telling you can't make money in real estate. So now what I want y'all to think about is this. Like I said, I'm only here to tenants are horrible. Tenants are horrible. This new quality of tenant is terrible. I have properties that have veterans housing, still have Section 8. I had 43 properties. I'm down to my last 5 properties as an individual. I have group investments still. But my individual investments, I'm selling my last 5 properties and I'm getting them off my books. The quality of tenants ever since COVID has went down the drain. Sometimes we just got to sit in our funk and realize, damn, we've been asking for jobs and rights and action since the 60s. And we in 2025 and still asking for the same damn things. Don't y'all think something wrong if we still asking for the same things that our grandparents was asking for? We are the biggest provider of entertainment, again, but we don't own it. We don't own networks. We don't own channels. We don't own social media. I want y'all to think back. It was Mom Maisley, Harry Belafonte, Sidney Poitier, Pearl Bailey. I want you to go back to when Sidney Poitier did a movie. Guess Who's Coming to Dinner? For those who know, this was a black and white movie. This was the first movie with a black and white kiss. Sidney Poitier kissed a white woman. He was able to make this movie because he had a movie production deal where he had control and distribution. I want y'all to listen to that word, distribution. See, you have Spike Lee, you got Tyler Perry, you got all these guys who make movies. None of it means anything if you do not own the distribution to get it out to the people. That was the last time Hollywood gave minorities distribution, because they started putting out movies like Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, another movie called Carmen with Harry Belafonte and a Spanish lead woman. So you had a black as a lead, a Caribbean black as a lead, and a Spanish as a lead, and another kissing scene. Watch that movie. Once they showed Hollywood, oh, if you're going to give us power, we're going to show our people in romantic lead roles. They didn't do that no more. So when you hear about somebody has a production deal and they can do this, yeah, they can make it, but it will never get out. How many understand the power of Malcolm X? Spike Lee shot that movie, Malcolm X. Don't you know when he started making that movie and they realized how powerful that movie was, they said, we ain't giving you no more money to shoot the movie? He had to go to Michael Jordan, Oprah Winfrey. He had to go to celebrities to finish shooting that movie, Malcolm X. See, if they were guaranteeing you distribution, then it's, you know what, we got to put it out. That's part of the contract. We don't own the distribution. We don't own the movie theaters. We don't own the channels. You got my guy, fan base, Isaac Hayes III. I invested and bought some stocks. This is no financial advice. I want to be a part of something that's going to be powerful. But we have to start thinking about the ownership role and not the consumer. You can no longer be the ultimate consumer. Everybody within the sound of my voice. You can no longer be the ultimate consumer. How can you own the roof over your head? How could you own something, even if it's not here in this country? You don't have to do everything here. Stop thinking just because you were born and raised in this country, you have to grow old and die here. They will not tell you about the millions of people who are fleeing this country and living in other places. Africa, Colombia, Thailand, Bali, Belize, leaving. They will have you think this is the only place you'll be able to survive. I want to give you some stuff, right? I'm having it because I know you're ready to have this conversation. You just need to be reassured that you're thinking correctly. I don't want y'all to sit there and get in your emotions and say how Donald Trump is so stupid. You don't get to become the president of the United States because you're stupid. You get with the right people, you make the right connections, You promise to do things to the people who don't have any power, and you help those in power to do the things that they want you to do. That's exactly what's happening. Don't you know this is bigger than that? I want you to Google congressional seats year 2030 being taken away. We have to understand what's happening for the year 2030. California will be losing 4 seats, Democratic state. Who's getting those 4 seats? Those 4 seats are going to Texas. New York is losing 4 seats. Those 4 seats are going to Florida. Nobody's talking about that. See, this is what the Republicans have been doing for years, y'all. You might not see another Democratic president for the next 2 terms. You may not see another Democratic president for the next 2 terms. But we sitting around here talking about who should pay half on dinner, who should pay half of the bills in the house. This is what we talking about. We entertainment. We not needle movers, we're entertainers. Basketball, baseball, podcasts, golf, soccer. Keep us busy, but don't keep us owning. You still want to hesitate on where you should live or where you should go or what you should do with your life. Will you execute? If you struggling already at your job and any minute your ass could be gone and they could bring some automation in there, what the hell are you doing to get ready for it? I do a monthly job report on how many jobs they're getting rid of. And the reason for it, because if they're projecting 8.9 million jobs by 2030, that means you need to lose about 1.2 million jobs every year. So far, at the end of March, there's almost 500,000 jobs gone. 500,000 jobs. And we will sit around and watch them buy up all this crypto, put the bills in place. And I did a post about they are backing the dollar with a stable coin. But we won't believe in the crypto world. We believe it's all a scam. We'll think trading is a scam. We'll think Wall Street options is a scam. Wall Street has made more millionaires than real estate. More than real estate, right? See, because we're not moving the needle doing things that we've done before. You ain't moving the needle by opening up a store that sells muffins. You ain't moving the needle by opening a clothing store. You're not moving the needle by opening up a fruit stand. You moving the needle by thinking AI, digital, and everything that's online based. Not a brick and mortar, not depending on somebody coming in to buy your goods. And I'm not being hard, I'm being real. You want to move the needle? I need y'all to look at something. There's this thing called Google Notebook. I spent 2 days watching this shit that they giving us for free and what technology is going. And I said, we still out here thinking that the shit that we doing to bring change in our pocket, which we all need a little change now, don't get me wrong, is going to move the needle if you're not trying to convert that thing into a AI or to a digital-based product. Notebook LM, and I'm going down that rabbit hole, and I shook my head and said, I'm getting me some more Google stocks, some Google options. I'm getting me some more Microsoft. I need y'all to understand trading. I need y'all to understand the world of investing. I need y'all to understand that digital currency and money is where it's. I'm not just talking about Bitcoin and XRP. I'm talking about smaller blockchains like VeChain. I love to use this analogy. When you go to school, the first relationships you build is a sandbox relationships with friends. That's school. Sandbox relationships. Then from school, you get a job. That's a lunchbox relationship. From your job, that lunchbox relationship, now you build relationships with other owners, and now you have a owner's box relationship. Out of those 3 relationships, You will very rarely bring the person from the sandbox relationship from school to your lunchbox relationship from work, now to the owner's box relationship and being an entrepreneur and an owner. It's a reason for that. Because they're not meant to go with you on these levels. They're not meant to go with you. He said to me, he said, as you grow in this space and you do these things and you lose your friends along the way, and it's a sad thing, I immediately stopped him and said, why is it sad to lose friends along the way? I said, no, it's a part of the process. Would you still want to wear a sneaker that you used to could fit when you were 6 years old? Or you realize, I need a bigger sneaker because I'm getting bigger. It's just not meant to be. You have to be able to have conversations with people who understand and grow with you. Your circle is the strongest thing you could have, and it also could be the most crippling thing that you can never let go. When you have your circle, you make sure you define your circle and your relationship with people who you can have conversations with, that you guys understand it, and they're ready to make a move. And when they hear you giving valuable information and everybody can share with each other, you don't all have to move in that direction at the same time. But guess what? They know that a move needs to be made. Damn. You need to change. And when you change, those people are not going to want to be around you. You're the problem because you're not changing. You're making it comfortable. I'm going to make it uncomfortable for the people to want to text me and call me to talk about bullshit. I'm going to make it uncomfortable for them to want to tell me about some gossip. I'm going to make it uncomfortable for them to tell me they can't change or life is tearing them down. I'm going to make it uncomfortable for them. And they're going to say, I can't call him and talk to him unless I got some change, or I need to have a conversation with him that's going to move the needle. We have to stop saying, I want better for my children than I want for myself. We have to stop saying that. Our parents had the right to say that because they grew up in hard times. They grew up in a certain era. I had no right to say I want more for my children than I want for me. You know why? Because I had a job that was giving me benefits, that was giving me overtime. I had ownership of homes. I had the opportunity to travel. I had the opportunity to do all of those things. We have the opportunity to do all of those things, but we still would turn around and say, I want more for my children than what I had. What was wrong with what you had? I grew up knowing what rice and butter, 2 breads and syrup and mustard, a wish sandwich, 2 pieces of bread and wish for a piece of meat. It's not a knock towards them. I'm trying to give you an example of why they are the way they are and why we can't depend on to create new leaders from a generation of followers. They grew up with a fridge full of food, never knowing what it was to come home and the lights was off, the cable was off, or the gas was off. But now we expect them to be the generation that's going to move the needle. Don't in the era of the Wall Street, Black Wall Street, Oklahoma and Tulsa and all that generation that built out these cities, banks, firehouses, like plumbers, hardware stores, electrician. That generation was one generation away from slavery. They didn't have any contracts. They didn't have any sports deals. They didn't have any marketing. They didn't have any social media, but they built a goddamn community. We have multi-million and billion-dollar athletes and people. What would you think if we had the opportunity to talk to Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Paul Robeson? If we had a chance to have a conversation with them and say, look, we got people making billions of dollars, athletes and all this stuff. My best guess, what they would probably say to us would be, show us our neighborhoods. Show us our schools. Show us our banks. Show us our networks. Show us our movie production studios. Show us our distribution. Show us our food chains. Show us our clothing. Show us. All the things that they fought and died for wasn't for us to sit around and say, who can get the biggest contract as an athlete? The civil rights movement wasn't about that. We've always said, if we can just get money, if we could only get money, we could change the world. If we could only get the first black president, we could change the world. If we can only get this, we could change the world. We got it. Where's the change? This is why the greatest wealth transfer of all won't be money, won't be assets. It'll be information. The information that we will be able to hand down for them to do something. The most valuable thing that we own is the air we breathe, right? The moment that we're no longer breathing, your life is worth so much money. Leave life insurance policies to start building wealth. But leave instructions. Leave instructions. We are entertainment, and they are constantly bombarding our next generation with lies about relationships. If I continuously hear over and over every black podcast that want to tell you, should he have his own house, his own car? How much should he make? They're literally destroying the mind of our children and the next ones, where they will never have stories about high school sweethearts ever again. There will never be another love story, because now their mind is programmed that he needs to have something. I know the story about my mother, how she met my father, my grandparents. If you take away the college sweetheart, the love stories, what the fuck is left? We're the entertainment. Do you think the majority of white families, Asian families are running around here talking about in their circles or what he drives or what he does? Yes, there's a family status, but there's also a story. I want you to think about, stop trying to have a business that's only going to survive in this world that we're in. You have to look at transforming what you have into that different space to build it out, because it's digital, not handing out. Somebody needs to pay you money to walk in your store. This gentleman who had hard times, and we classified him as being bums when we don't know their life story, came up to me. He said, my brother, could you help me out? I said, man, listen, people don't carry money no more. I'm sorry, my brother. Don't you know he pulled out a QR code? A QR code to give him some money. I looked and smiled. I said, my brother, I got to give it to you. You are ahead of the curve. This dude was down on his luck, homeless, had a cell phone, and a QR code for you to give him some money if you wanted to donate to him. And you mean to tell me you can't get your technology shit together when this guy's living on the street and he got his technology shit together? I need us to snap out of it. Start thinking about having you a citizenship or some way to get out the country. People are leaving in droves. Get you, wherever your family's from, get you a passport. Get you some residence, get you a citizenship, start being ready to leave. If you can make money here and don't have to work for it, imagine that money being like 30 times the amount that you made here. I know people who trade live in Belize, all right? So with that being said, I need somebody to close me out. What do I always say before I get off these calls? Always seek knowledge.